In this video, we're gonna learn how to create pivot table report. A pivot table is a powerful tool to calculate, summarize, and analyze data that lets you see comparison, patterns, and trends in your data. It's interactive and you're able to change a model and analyze your data on the fly. Let's start by looking at this example. We have the data about the new accounts of their several branches of the bank. This table has their information about 3 branches. There are Central, North, County, and West Side. The table has 712 rows, and each row represents a new account opened at the bank. Let's look at the column of this spreadsheet. We have in the column A, we have the date when the account was opened. In column B, we have the day of the week that the account was opened. And then we see the amount for which account was opened, and next column is account type. Then we can see who opened the bank account, whether it was a teller or it was a buy new account department. And then we see in what branch it was opened, in Central, North County, or West Side. And then the last column will give us type of the customer. Is it an existing customer who opened a new account, or it's a new customer, the totally new customer for the bank? Let's look at the several questions that manager of the bank want to know or might want to know, and how we can help to answer this question by using pivot table. Let's look at the first question. What is the total amount of new deposits broken down by account type and branch? First, let's highlight or select the whole table, all our data. So I'm gonna be selecting all the way down and to the right. So I'm holding Shift Control and I hit the down arrow, and then now I'm hitting the right arrow, and this way I'm able easily select the whole range, which is 713 rows. Then click on Insert menu and click on Pivot Tables. And it's asked you about the table range. We already selected it. If you didn't select it in the first step, you can select it now by clicking on this arrow and selecting your range or table. And then it asks me, do I want it to have in the same worksheet or in a new one? I want to have this report to be placed in a new worksheet. I'm click OK. And now I want to know the question. Let's revisit the question. We need to know the total amount of new deposit broken down by account type and branch. So I will select my row labels, column labels, values, and report filters. My row labels would be account types. I want to know by account type, so I put my different type of account as a row labels. I want to put my branches as a column labels, so I can see what amount of each type of account open in each branch. And as values, I'm going to be using the amount, the account amount opened for each type in each branch. And if you see, as soon as I add the row labels, column labels, or values on my pivot table field list, on the left, I have this report. already generated for me. And I can do a lot with that. I can rearrange the column, the rows, I can format the data inside, and I can apply the conditional formatting or sorting. Let's look at different examples and see what else we can do with pivot table. Next question the branch manager want to know is, what is the daily total new deposit amount for each branch? And to put this report together, I can start with a new pivot table, or I actually can modify my existing report. Let's say I look at their account types, account amount by account type, and decided I actually want to see this information by day when it was open, and see how much was open in each branch each day. So I can easily rearrange the pivot table to show their my account number amounts by, let's say, weekday instead of their account type. I'm going to remove the account type, just drag it back, and I will select the weekdays and put it instead of row labels, and it's already will tell me how much was open on each given weekday. But what I was asked actually, how much it was open each day. So I need to put the date here. And now you can see my whole November by day and see how much new accounts were open in each branch. Let's look at the few other question. The next question, which day of the week generates the most deposit? Let's look at this report. And I'm again going to be modifying my existing pivot table instead of inserting the new one. Let's go back to our report. And now instead of the date, I'm going to use the weekdays and see what day generate the most accounts in each branch. So I just drag back to the field, list my date, and brought the weekday as row labels, and already see my accounts amount by day by branch. But the question was what day generated the most accounts, and it's hard to tell it by looking just on that. I can do a lot with my data in a pivot table. I actually can present it not as amounts or sums, but have the different options for that. I can select my field, right click, and click summarize values by, and instead of sum I can have count, average, minimum, maximum, but I actually want to do something different. I want to again click on the field that has the data you want to present differently, right click, and then instead of summarize value by, you can select show values as, and there is a lot of options for you. Right now we have just no calculation, just summary, but I can show it as a percent of grand total, percentage of the column total, percentage of the row total, or different other ways to present. Even the percentage is a difference from something, or running percentage of total. Right now I want to show my accounts amount opened each day as a percentage of grand total, and this way I will see what percentage of my grand total was opened each day. So I'm clicking percentage of grand total, and I already can see the percentages for each day, and basically already can spot what day brought the most accounts in. But I want to make it even more visual. I want to use the conditional formatting for my grand total for each day. Again, as we did in the previous session or video, we select the field we want to apply the conditional formatting for. We go to the home menu and we select conditional formatting, And here I actually want to use not the highlighting cell rules as we did before. I want to use the color scales. I want to have my cells highlighted differently. I actually probably will use the data bars and a gradient fill. And you can click on some colors and see how it's going to look before you apply. I want to use this particular gradient fill, and I'm clicking on that, and already I can see by their size of the bar which they brought more accounts and which was their browse the list. So I can spot that Friday is my biggest day for opening the account, and actually Saturday was the slowest day to open new accounts. And as a last report, I want to show my new accounts by branch, by account type, and see percentage of each branch and in each account as a percentage of total. And I want to be able to show all this information based on who opened the account, and select and look at all the accounts that were opened by teller or the new account representative. Let's start with the new one. I already have my table highlighted. I'm gonna go insert, pivot table, and I will do it in new worksheet. And I'm gonna be, as my row labels, I'm gonna be using the branches and account types because I want to show it by branch, by account type. And I want to show the amount they opened in each branch of each account type. So my value is going to be months. But at the same time, I want to be able to filter and show who opened the accounts. So I'm going to drag the open by field to the report filter, and it appears up here. By having this filter, I'm already able to select all when it's open, regardless who opened the account, or I can select the new account representative, and it will show me how much of the account's amount was opened by new account representatives in each branch of each type. Or I can look at the teller performance as well. Now I want to show my information not as a sum of an amount, but as a percentage of total. As we did before, I'm gonna click on their field. I want to change the how I show it, and I right click, and then I'm selecting show value as, and I'm selecting percentage of their grand total. And it's giving me percentages for each branch, and inside of each branch I can see how much was open of each account in percentages, and the same for each branch, and it's all as a percentage of total, and that's a very helpful report as well. As an example of another report that shows use their different representation of the values and the condition formatting, we can look at their report that answers the question, what type of the bank accounts do tellers open most often? Let's modify one of our reports that we put together before. I'm sorry, in this case it's going to be just easy to do a new one. So let's do insert, pivot table, new worksheet, and we're gonna look at what type of account the teller open most often. So as our row labels, it's going to be account. As our column label, it's going to be actually accounts, and we're gonna bring the account type to the value field so we can count how many accounts were open of CD, checking, IRA, or saving. So we're basically counting of each account types how many were opened. And after that, we're gonna bring their open by to their filter. So we should be able to select only Taylor's accounts. And now I wanna see what account type was opened the most. For that, I'm also again gonna add the account type into their values, but I'm gonna change it to be shown as a percentage of total. And then I'm going to be applying their conditional formatting again as we did before. I select, I go to conditional formatting, and I use the data bars, and I use the green field, and I apply my conditional formatting, and you can definitely see that the check-in was the most requested account. It was open, 99 accounts were opened, and it represents 40% of all their accounts opened. That's majority of their pivot type reports we covered today, and there are a lot more you can do with the pivot reports.